Imagine, it's the last night of 2026. You sit alone for a moment before midnight. Maybe you're holding a cup of coffee. Maybe you're looking through photos on your phone. You start thinking about the year that's almost over. All the things that you have done throughout the time. Did you become the person you hoped to be? Did you learn that new skill? Did you finally start that business? Did you spend more time with your family? Or will it feel exactly like last year, still another year full of plans that never became reality? Most people don't fail because they are lazy or untalented. They fail because small excuses slowly become daily habits. One missed workout becomes one missed week. One delayed decision becomes another month. Before they realize it, an entire year has passed. A good news is, you can totally change this situation if you start to take action from now on. A different future doesn't begin with one huge decision. It begins with one small change that you repeat every day. Jack Ma once said that opportunities are everywhere, but only people who keep learning and improving are ready to see them. His life wasn't built by one lucky moment. It was built by thousands of ordinary days when he chose not to give up. Today, I'd like to share 8 life lessons inspired by Jack Ma's mindset. They are simple ideas, but if you truly practice them, they can completely change the way you live, work, and think before 2027 arrives. Stay with me until the end, because the final lesson quietly connects all the others. Let's start with the first. Build your discipline, not motivation. Let me ask you something. How many times have you said, "I'll start on Monday," or "I'll begin next month," or maybe, "I'll do it when I have more time"? Most of us have. We imagine a future better of ourselves, we write detailed plan, we discuss the idea with our friends. But when it comes to reality, we never actually do anything. Why? Motivation is a feeling, and feelings pass. It hits hard on January 1st, full of fire and big plans. By the 15th, it's fading. February comes, and you can barely remember what the plan even was. One people can study so focus on Monday because he had so big motivation. But the rest of the week, he did nothing at all. Discipline works differently. It doesn't ask how you feel today. It just keeps going. Jack Ma didn't build Alibaba because he felt motivated every single day. Like every entrepreneur, he faced rejection, uncertainty, and failure. But he kept showing up, even when success was nowhere in sight. That's what discipline looks like. Not perfection, but consistency. Many people think discipline means forcing yourself to do difficult things. Actually, it's the opposite. The easiest way to become disciplined is to make your habits so small that your brain has no reason to avoid them. Our brains love easy wins. A habit that takes only 2 minutes is much easier to start than one that takes 2 hours. Instead of asking, "How can I completely change my life?" ask, "What can I repeat tomorrow?" That question is much more powerful. So here's a small challenge. Tonight, choose one habit that takes less than 2 minutes. Attach it to one action that you have already done regularly. For example, after brushing your teeth, stretch for 1 minute. After making coffee, read 1 paragraph. After dinner, learn 1 new English word. Don't try to change your whole life. Just change the next 2 minutes. But you know, discipline alone isn't enough. You might have great ideas and work incredibly hard. If nobody understands those ideas, many opportunities will quietly pass you by. That's why the next lesson matters just as much. Okay, now let's move to the second lesson. Practice your communication skills. Have you ever walked away from this situation before? In a meeting with your colleagues, your customers, or your boss, you were trying to explain something, you used slides, images, hand gestures, but the room just looked confused. Or worse, checked out. Good communication isn't about using difficult words. It's about helping other people understand you and listening to others' thoughts. Jack Ma is known for building one of the world's biggest companies, but one of his greatest strengths wasn't technology, it was communication. He knew how to explain big ideas in simple language. People followed him because they understood his vision. That is a skill anyone can learn. And it starts with 3 simple habits. First, real listening. If someone is talking to you while your mind is already thinking about what to say next, you are not really listening. You are just waiting for your turn. Real listening means giving the other person your full attention from the beginning to the end, even when you already think you know what they're going to say. That's how you show respect for the speaker. Second, clarity. Keep your message short and simple. When you say less, people remember more. Respect other people's time, and they will respect your speaking back. Simple language isn't a weakness. It's a sign that you understand the idea well. Third, honesty. Speak what you truly believe, and let your voice reflect it. You don't need to pretend to know everything. People can tell when your words come from the heart. Honest words create trust, and trust is the foundation of every meaningful conversation. Saying, "I don't know, but I'll find out," often builds more respect than giving a confident answer that isn't true. So tomorrow, try a small experiment in one conversation. During one conversation, ask one genuine question. Then, don't interrupt. Don't think about your next saying or anything. Let the other person finish completely before you respond. You might be surprised how much people open up when they feel truly heard. And one more thing worth remembering. Tone carries more weight than the words themselves. You can say the exact right sentence and still hurt someone by how it lands. Slow down before you respond to anything difficult. A short pause often saves an entire conversation from going sideways. Discipline helps you improve yourself. Communication helps the world notice that improvement. And once you can combine both, new opportunities begin to appear in places you never expected. Lesson 3. Protect your health. Imagine buying the most expensive laptop in the world, then never charging the battery. No matter how powerful it is, sooner or later, it will stop working. Your body works the same way. Yet many of us treat it like it can run forever, without rest. We stay up late to finish work. We skip meals because we're busy. We sit for hours without moving, then wonder why we always feel tired. The truth is, success becomes much harder when your body is constantly asking for help. Jack Ma once said that when you're young, you work with your energy, but as you grow older, you realize that energy is your most valuable resource. Money can be earned again, time cannot. Health, once seriously damaged, often takes years to rebuild. That's why taking care of yourself isn't a reward after success. It's one of the reasons success becomes possible in the first place. Real health doesn't require a perfect lifestyle. It simply requires paying attention to 4 basic areas. First, sleep. Your brain does most of its repair work while you're asleep, not while you're working late at night. 1 extra hour of sleep can improve your focus far more than another cup of coffee. Second, movement. You don't need an expensive gym membership. A 20-minute walk after dinner, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or stretching between work sessions can make a bigger difference than most people expect. Third, nutrition. Food is not just something that fills your stomach. It becomes the fuel your brain uses to think, learn, and make decisions. Finally, give your mind time to rest. Every moment doesn't need to be productive. Some of your best ideas appear during a quiet walk, while taking a shower, or simply sitting without looking at a screen. Tonight, try to ask yourself, Which one of these 4 areas is your weakest? Don't try to fix everything at once. Just improve that one area a little this week. Small improvements, repeated consistently, create a healthy life much more effectively than perfect plans that only last 3 days. When your body has more energy, something interesting happens. You think more clearly. You become more patient. You make better decisions. And one of the most important decisions you'll ever make is how you use your money. Let's move to the 4th lesson. Spend time learning about money. Now, if I asked where every dollar you earned last month went, could you answer with confidence? The truth is, most people couldn't. Money seems to disappear quietly. A coffee here, a food delivery there, another online purchase you didn't really need. None of these feel expensive by themselves, but together, they slowly shape your financial future. Jack Ma often reminds young people that learning is one of the best investments they can make. Financial knowledge works the same way. You don't have to become an expert in investing overnight. You simply need to understand your own money a little better than you did yesterday. Many people think becoming rich starts with earning more. In reality, it often starts with saving money. Imagine 2 people earning exactly the same salary. One spends without thinking. The other tracks every expense for just 1 month. By the end of that month, the second person has already learned something valuable. They begin to notice patterns. Maybe they spend too much eating out. Maybe small subscriptions are quietly taking money every month. Awareness changes behavior. Behavior changes results. That's why financial literacy isn't really about numbers. It's about habits. What you need to do now is building 3 simple ones. First, know where your money goes. Second, save before you spend, not after. Even a small amount, saved regularly, is better than waiting until you have extra money, because extra money rarely appears by itself. Third, keep learning. Read 1 article about personal finance every week. Watch 1 educational video each month. Ask questions whenever you don't understand something. Every piece of knowledge becomes another tool that helps you make better decisions in the future. A small challenge for you to practice this. Before you go to bed tonight, write down the 3 biggest things you spent money on this week. Don't judge yourself. Don't feel guilty. Just look honestly at the facts. Awareness is always the first step toward change. Money itself doesn't create happiness, but financial peace gives you something just as valuable. It gives you freedom. Freedom to make choices. Freedom to help your family. Freedom to invest in your future instead of constantly worrying about your present. And speaking of the future, there is one resource even more valuable than money, because once it's gone, no amount of money can ever buy it back. That resource is time. Let's move to Lesson 5. Master your time management skills. Everyone has exactly the same 24 hours in a day. Yet by the end of the year, some people have learned a new language, started a business, or changed their lives, while others wonder where all their time went. The difference is rarely about having more free time. It's about using the time you already have with intention. Think about your morning. What's the first thing you usually do after opening your eyes? For many people, it's checking their phone. One notification becomes another. A quick look at social media turns into 20 or 30 minutes before they even get out of bed. Without realizing it, they've allowed other people to decide how their day begins. Jack Ma once said that if you spend all your time complaining, you'll never have time to improve. The same idea applies to distractions. Every minute you spend reacting to everything around you is 1 minute you cannot spend building the future you actually want. That's why successful people don't try to plan every hour perfectly. Instead, they decide what matters most before the day becomes busy. A simple habit can completely change your productivity. Every evening, before going to bed, write down the 3 most important things you want to finish tomorrow. Not 10, not 20, just 3. When you wake up, you already know where your attention belongs. Your brain doesn't have to waste energy deciding what to do first. It simply starts. Another helpful habit is learning to protect your attention. Today, distractions are everywhere. Emails, messages, videos, advertisements, endless scrolling. None of them feel dangerous, because each one only steals a few minutes. But together, they quietly steal years. Imagine saving just 1 extra hour every day. That's more than 360 hours every year. Enough time to finish dozens of books, improve your English, learn a valuable skill, or build something meaningful. Time isn't something you find, it's something you choose. So tomorrow morning, before touching your phone, spend just 5 minutes working on something important to your future. Those first 5 minutes may become the most valuable part of your entire day. Once you learn to manage your time, you'll naturally begin asking yourself another question. What skills will still matter 5 or 10 years from now? That brings us to the next lesson. Lesson number 6. Learn digital skills. Think back to your life 5 years ago, 2021. How many of the apps you use every day even existed back then? How many jobs have changed because of technology? The world moves faster than ever before. It is a reminder for us to keep learning and studying, especially young people, so that we will not be left behind. Jack Ma often encouraged young people to stay curious because curiosity keeps your mind alive. No school can teach you everything you'll need for the next 20 years. That's why lifelong learning matters a lot. In today's world, learning has become part of the job itself. You don't need to become an expert in artificial intelligence, programming, or every new technology that appears. You simply need to remain open to learning one new thing at a time. Maybe this month, you learn how to use an AI tool that saves you an hour every day. Next month, you discover a better way to organize your work. 6 months later, you realize those small improvements have completely changed how you work. That's how growth usually happens, not through one giant breakthrough, but through hundreds of small upgrades. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting until they feel ready. They think, I'll learn when I have more time. But the truth is, learning creates opportunities that make more time possible later. Imagine someone who spends 20 minutes each day improving one useful skill. At first, nothing seems different. After 1 month, the progress is small. After 1 year, they're almost unrecognizable compared to the person who never started. That's the power of consistency. Here's a challenge for this week. Choose one digital tool or one practical skill you've always wanted to understand. Don't try to master it today. Spend just 20 minutes exploring it with curiosity. Ask questions, make mistakes, click the wrong buttons. Learning isn't about avoiding mistakes, it's about becoming comfortable making them. The future doesn't belong to the people who know everything. It belongs to the people who never stop learning. But knowledge alone isn't enough. You can be highly skilled, incredibly productive, and still lose people's trust if your character is weak. That's why the next lesson may be the most important one for building a meaningful life. The next lesson, number 7. Build a character people can trust. Imagine someone offers you 2 business partners. The first is brilliant, but never keeps their promises. The second is less experienced, but always tells the truth, admits mistakes, and does exactly what they say they'll do. Which one would you choose? Most people wouldn't hesitate. They'd choose the second person. Skills may open the first door, but character decides how long those doors stay open. Jack Ma built successful companies because people believed in his vision, but they also believed in him. Trust is something that takes years to earn and only seconds to lose. The interesting thing about character is that it isn't built during life's biggest moments. It's built during the small moments nobody else sees. Do you return the extra money when a cashier gives you too much change? Do you admit your mistake even when nobody would ever know? Do you keep your promise when breaking it would be easier? These quiet decisions slowly become your identity. Over time, people begin describing you with words like reliable, honest, responsible, or dependable. Those words become more valuable than any diploma hanging on your wall. One manager once shared to me a story about two employees who made similar mistakes. The first spent an hour explaining why the mistake wasn't really their fault. The second simply said, "I'm sorry, I made the mistake, and here's my plan to fix it." Which employee earned more respect? That's definitely the one who accepted responsibility. Honesty creates trust, and trust creates opportunities. Here's something you can ask yourself after watching this video. What's one promise you've been delaying? Think about it, and tomorrow, keep that promise, no matter how small it seems. Character isn't measured by one dramatic decision. It's measured by hundreds of ordinary choices repeated over many years. And when discipline, communication, health, money, time, knowledge, and character begin working together, something else starts changing as well. The way you see yourself, your mindset, and that final lesson quietly holds everything else together. Lesson 8. Develop a growth mindset. Let's go back to the question we started with at the beginning of this video. Imagine it's the last night of 2026. You're sitting quietly, looking back on everything that happened over the past year. Now ask yourself one simple question. Who have you become? Not how much money you made, not how many followers you gained, not how busy you were. Who have you become because of the choices you made every day? That's the question that matters most, because success is rarely built in one extraordinary moment. It's built through thousands of ordinary moments that slowly shape the person you become. That's why your mindset matters more than any other lesson we've talked about today. A growth mindset means believing that your abilities are not fixed. You are not born with a certain amount of talent and expected to stay the same forever. You can improve, you can learn, you can become stronger than you are today. Failure isn't a sign that you should stop. It's simply feedback telling you what to do differently next time. Jack Ma's life is one of the clearest examples of this idea. Before becoming one of the world's best-known entrepreneurs, he faced rejection again and again. He struggled to get into college. He applied for many jobs and was turned down repeatedly. He was even rejected by KFC, while many other applicants were accepted. Most people would have looked at those experiences and decided they simply weren't good enough. Jack Ma didn't. Instead of asking, "Why am I so unlucky?" he kept asking himself, "What can I learn from this?" That single question changed the direction of his life. Every rejection became a lesson. Every mistake became experience. Every setback became another opportunity to grow stronger. I know that growth usually feels much slower than we expect. That's why so many people quit too early. You study English for a week, but you still struggle to understand native speakers. You exercise for a month, but the mirror hardly changes. You save money for several weeks, yet your financial situation looks almost the same. It feels like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, something is changing. Your habits are becoming stronger. Your thinking is becoming healthier. Your identity is slowly becoming different. Then one day, without even realizing when it happened, you'll do something that once felt impossible. You'll finish a conversation in English without translating every sentence in your head. You'll solve a problem that used to overwhelm you. You'll stay calm in a situation that would have frustrated you a year ago. Other people will call it talent or success. You'll know it was simply the result of hundreds of small choices repeated consistently. So here's my final challenge for you. Don't try to change all 8 areas of your life tomorrow. That's exactly how most people lose motivation. Instead, choose the one lesson you need most right now. Maybe it's becoming more disciplined. Maybe it's improving your communication. Maybe it's taking better care of your health. Maybe it's finally learning about money. Maybe it's protecting your time. Maybe it's developing new digital skills. Maybe it's becoming someone people can trust. Or maybe it's simply changing the way you think about failure. Whatever you choose, ask yourself one question before you go to bed tonight. What's one small action I can finish before tomorrow? Not next month. Not next year. Tomorrow. Small actions create momentum. Momentum creates habits. Habits shape your identity. And your identity shapes your future. Today we've talked about 8 life lessons inspired by Jack Ma. At first, they may seem like 8 separate ideas, but they're actually connected. Discipline helps you take action. Communication helps others understand your value. Good health gives you the energy to keep moving forward. Financial knowledge gives you more freedom to make choices. Time management helps you focus on what truly matters. Digital skills prepare you for a changing world. Strong character earns people's trust. And a growth mindset quietly supports all of them, especially on the days when progress feels slow and giving up seems easier. Now I'd like you to remember the very first question I asked at the beginning of this video. Will you be proud of the person you've become? Not because everything went perfectly, not because you never failed, but because you kept showing up, you kept learning, and you refused to let temporary failures become permanent excuses. Your future won't change because you watched one motivational video today. It won't change because you felt inspired for a few minutes. It will change because of what you decide to do after this video ends. So before you scroll to another video or pick up your phone, take just 1 minute, find a piece of paper, write down the one lesson you need most right now. Then write one small action you'll complete today. Keep that paper somewhere you'll see it tomorrow morning. Let it remind you that meaningful change doesn't happen all at once. It happens one decision at a time. One small action may not seem important tonight, but one small action repeated every day can change a month. A month can change a year, and 1 year can completely change your life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I truly hope that when the final day of 2026 arrives, you'll look back with a smile, not because life was easy, but because you became stronger, wiser, and closer to the person you wanted to be. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and never stop believing that your next small step could become the beginning of something extraordinary.